A little sunshine over here. I love it. I haven't seen sunshine in quite a while, other than in very cool people who are sunshine. So anyhow, welcome everyone. And first, I'll do a roll call. Jessica Doppin. Present. Mary Griffin. Here. Walter Searcy. Present. Gail Carr Williams. And our Vice Chair, Janet Miller.
Present.
With that, I will ask for a motion for approval of the November 17th MTA Board Meeting minutes. Motion.
Second, Janet Miller.
There's a motion, there's a second, there's a third. Any discussion, any additions or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ms. House, you have your minutes. Thank you. Public comments. I do not have any forms of anyone wishing to make a public comment. Is there anyone here wishing to make a public comment? Hearing none, I will close the public comments portion of our agenda today. Thank you. Next, I have information-only items, which is the monthly fiscal report, the monthly operating statistics, and the upcoming procurement projects list. Do any of my fellow board members wish to have any discussion about any of those items? I trust that everyone has read that information thoroughly, and I thank the staff for putting thorough reports in our board packet. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda items. And on that, we have the Armored Car Contract Award and the WeGo Central Dunkin' Donuts lease agreement. And I'm asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda items unless one of our board members wants to take one of those items out.
Move the approval of the consent agenda.
I hear a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second, Mary.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Mr. Searcy, must be the holiday season. We are gifting you with no report. So kind. Look at that. Letting you off the hook. Happy holidays.
Back at you.
So now I will kick this over to you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's perfect that since it's a holiday month and we talk about naughty and nice, that we're just, the nice committee gets all the action. So that's good for all of us. Great. So we have 3 discussions today, and we have one area that needs, actually we have 4 discussions today, and only one that requires action, which is the Title VI program update. So we're just going to start at the top of the roster with Kia Lewis and Renuka, who are going to talk to us about the renaming signage update for WeGo Central.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and distinguished members of the board. My name is Kia Lewis. I am the project manager for the renaming of WeGo Central. So I wanted to take just a moment to acknowledge as they're coming in, acknowledge the Duff family. Give them just a second.
Welcome, Duff family.
Welcome.
I wanted to thank them for being here today, and then also for taking time out to meet with me on several occasions to provide pictures of Elizabeth Duff, as well as stories about Elizabeth Duff. So I specifically wanted to thank Mr. Harry, who is her husband, Elizabeth's husband, for telling me a story that was very inspiring to me. He told me that his wife, at a young age, would ride the bus with her mother, and she would basically ask her mother, why did they have to sit at the back of the bus? Her mother would then explain to her the reason why they would sit at the back of the bus, but she always took the time to let Elizabeth know that whatever she could do, whatever she set her mind to do. And so we found out later in life that she did just that. She not only sat at the beginning of at the front of the bus, she also became a driver of the bus. She was our first female, our first African-American female to drive for MTA WeGo. And so it is very inspiring to me, and I wanted to thank the family as a whole for taking time out with me to share knowledge and getting to know Elizabeth Duff as the person. So once again, thank you for sharing with me about Elizabeth. So as I I get into my presentation today, I will be presenting the preferred concept for the external or the facade of the building. Of course, you know that we got approval from Metro Council to rename WeGo Central after Elizabeth Duff. So what we did after that is requested the expertise of McCoy Designs to assist us in coming up with 3 concepts. We in turn had conversations with the family and staff members in order to select a preferred concept. And you'll see that in front of you on the slides. Now, these are the first 2 are the entrance of Dr. Martin Luther King Drive and also the entrance of 4th Avenue. So let me move that so you can see it a little bit better. As we looked at these preferred options, we also wanted to make sure that we went with the branding that WeGo had, as well as making sure that we had viewable distance of at least 120 feet from the building to be able to see the monumental signage. So you'll see there listed is the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and that's the look of that design. And then next will be the entrance to the 4th Avenue. And you'll notice that as well. Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at WeGo Central. And then lastly, we had one concept that was actually for the facade of Representative John Lewis Way. And you'll see the look of that. So we're looking to move forward with the monumental signage that will go on the exterior of the building. Now, of course, today we're going to do a little bit of team building. I'm going to allow our CO to actually come and talk about the interior. So as we look at the interior of what we're looking to do to honor not only Elizabeth Duff, but to also honor those members of our WeGo team, we wanted to look at areas, and these are not the final locations. We just wanted to kind of narrow that down as we work with McCoy Design to basically make some determinations on what we might like to do in certain areas. So as we looked at that, we wanted to, of course, be mindful of safety. We wanted to be mindful of the manageability. Would it be easy for us to update? We want to make sure that it did not disrupt the wayfinding. And then, of course, that it did not interfere with operations. So I'm going to hand it over to Renuka to talk about those locations.
Thank you, Kia. So what we're going to show you today is just suggested locations of our signage. Please note that the mock-ups that you see it's more for location rather than final design ideas. So this right here is the right of the customer care window. The complete dimensions of that wall are 14 feet by 8 feet. And so we're looking to enhance that space. And as we do our renaming of the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at WeGo Central, we'll continue to commemorate her and tell her story through signage, and then take advantage of this time to upgrade our signage. Next, this is the top of the escalator. Oh, and something I want to mention is these the suggested signage that you're looking at. Currently, there is nothing in these spaces. So again, we're just thrilled to utilize this time to upgrade the look and feel of WeGo Central to offer better customer service. So, so that was top of escalator. Next is the base of the escalator. Again, currently there is nothing here, so we are looking to put more commemorative signage on Elizabeth Duff as well as current information. And last is the upper lobby, where we'll continue to tell the story of Elizabeth Duff and her contributions to public transit in Nashville.
All right, thank you, Renuka. Thank you. As we look to have discussions and also questions from the board, we want to make sure that we, as we look, whether we make a determination if we're going to have static signage or it's going to be digital signage, there are a few things, of course, that are going to be trade-offs for us. As you look at the digital signage, of course, it's going to be more expensive, potentially could be labor-intensive, the maintenance that goes along with it. But we also want to look at from the security and safety standpoint and potentially vandalism. You know, we do have that in some aspects at WeGo Central. several. So we want to make sure that when we're placing something out there, that we're taking that in mind as well. And then there potentially could be long lead times. Now, this particular project, we're looking to have it completed in 2023 calendar year. We will basically be starting with the facade itself for that monumental signage. We'll be starting with that, and then as we develop these concepts with the McCoy design, we will be bringing that forward to you as well. Our budget for this is actually $200,000 right now. So I can entertain any questions or discussion from the board. Thank you.
Who has a question or a comment?
I do have one question. The sign at the top of the escalator. So whether or not you went digital, or what was the other word you used? Static, that means it just stays the same, right?
Exactly.
Will it change out frequently so many staff members can be celebrated?
Yes, we do have that ability to change it out. That would be the reason for actually having a static sign, is that we would update it and change it. And it would be having that ability to do that.
Other questions? I actually have one question. So I love the concept. I love the photos. I love that her photo is going to be all over the place. I think that's just so fun because her face is so joyful. You know, she seems like a really cool lady to me. And I love the quotes. I want to be sure, though, that we have in permanent memorialization exactly who she was and her story. I mean, so it's not just quotes. It is, she was the first for this and this, because you know how you see monuments and you're like, who was that guy? I think it's really important that it's easy for anybody who walks in the building to say, oh, that's who Mrs. Duff was. So
Definitely. We have, I am currently working with the family to get that information. And so that's something that we want to do as well, to make sure that they are involved in all of the processes that we have related to that. And so they have been a wealth of information to me. And so that's why I'm so appreciative of that. But yes, definitely.
Good. And thank you for coming today. I'm sure coming to Transit Authority board meetings aren't high on your list of things to do on Thursday afternoon, so thank you. Other questions or comments? Walter?
Those pictures depicted in the upper lobby are attached to the waiting area that's currently named for esteemed lawyer Carlton Pedway. And I'm wondering how those two will complement one another.
Yeah, actually, Walter, the waiting room, this isn't the waiting room area. This is the entrance as you're at the 5th and MLK, right next to the
This is not the waiting room.
Right. This is
Got
actually
it.
the lobby,
Got it.
the entry lobby.
Excellent question, Walter, though. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
the waiting room is sort of, you're kind of looking toward it in this view.
Got it. Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, Mary.
I don't actually have a question. I just want to thank you all as well. This is just such an exciting moment on so many levels. You know, I was a bus rider for many years from downtown and got to see a lot of the drivers, and she's just such a beautiful presence and speaks so well, you know, for everyone, for your family, for the organization. And, you know, thank you all for, you know, helping us and to properly honor, you know, one of WeGo's own. I just want to, you know, say that because this is really, really important to us. And I don't think we can say it strongly enough. You are doing us a great service. Thank you for
And
allowing.
with that, is there anything that you all would like to say while you're here? Yes, you should be proud.
1974, when I was outside playing, my brother, Daddy called us to come in the house to watch our mother on television.
Oh, so great.
I really didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, now now everybody's gonna know. Oh. Well, if they say it now, send them down to the corner of MLK and whatever, right? We got it proof. Oh, it's so great.
Well, you get their names and we'll make certain they're invited to
That's
this
right.
celebration. We'll have them
Thank you,
all
Madam
there. We'll be
Chair.
on TV again. Elizabeth will be right there, and you know her spirit's
That's right. There you
told you
go.
so.
Putting this together because he deserved it.
Yeah.
It was not easy. She didn't go through everything by herself.
Right.
We went through it as a family.
Mhm.
And any difficult days for her. Just her being a woman.
Mhm.
Not just being a woman.
That's right. Amen. Well, we could not be more honored to honor her. Yeah. Okay. Question?
I think, Madam Chair, just on that, so you'll see future iterations of the interior and the language and the photos. But off of what Kia just illustrated, we are going to move forward with the monumental, the exterior signage, kind of as you saw it. So, because that tends to be a longer lead time item, so.
Okay,
so that
go
will
for it.
proceed.
Go Kia. Go Kia and Renushka. Okay, that is great. That was the most fun item we had, I hate to say, but that was really fun. Next up, we've got a really important discussion about Title VI, our program adoption. And Hannah Schaefer is our Transit Business Intelligence Analyst, is going to lead that conversation. So welcome, Hannah.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. Yes, as you said, today I'm here to discuss and request approval of our 2022 update to our Title VI program, which has been made available for review on the WeGo website under the Civil Rights page. For anyone who's unaware, Title VI is part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin for any federally sponsored program or service. As part of our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, WeGo's Title VI program formalizes several of our agency policies for how we engage with the public and how we provide service to our community's most underrepresented neighborhoods. So every 3 years, transit agencies must submit an update to their Title VI program to the FTA as a way to evaluate how we've done, how we could do better, and what Title VI means to us as an agency. And I just wanted to give a few highlights on what we've done with this update. First, we've established a new public participation program. After the 2019 update, we realized there were some things that were missing from that document, which we've made some updates to further enhance our inclusivity and our outreach. Second, we've also made updates to our virtual meeting policy in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And we've also changed the definition of what is an emergency service. Again, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the FTA actually established a full calendar year, and we had 180 days as our emergency service, but we've since updated that to reflect FTA's guidance. We've added the WeGo Link service into our list of services that we provide. And then we've also completed a new demographic analysis of our service area. So this was using American Community Survey data from 2020. And what we found was that the low-income population within a half mile of our service area, that's what we define as access to transit, has actually decreased from 26% to 22%, while our minority while our minority population has actually increased from 35 to 41%. Furthermore, we've found that 21 out of 25 of the routes that we provide service for are considered low income and minority, meaning that the population within a half mile of 21 of our routes is higher than our entire system average. So showing how we serve our communities. But Title VI is more than just the 3-year review of our policies. It's the guiding force of our day-to-day decision-making, including our routine service changes, which typically occur every 6 months. So as you all have are aware, a thorough analysis is accompanied with any major service change, and it's accompanied by a transparent process with the community. So we are transparent about what changes we're making and how that may impact our communities. So any service that is 25% more, 25% or more change to the route service miles, or when a route is being added or eliminated, or when instituting any service, any fare changes, that Title VI analysis is completed. So since the 2019 update, we have conducted 3 analysis, including the e-fare quick ticket payment system, and as the addition of the Route 79, and other changes that have happened since the COVID-19 pandemic. And the results of these analyses have found no disparate impact or disproportionate burden. Those are all going to be provided within the appendix for reference. So after doing this update and the draft was completed, we made this available on the website for a public comment period for 21 days in October. We posted notices in the Tennessean as well as La Campana, and we hosted 2 meetings, one virtual and one in person. We received 1 formal comment, and after that public comment period, we found that there was no major changes that needed to be completed after the draft was published. So with that, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer, but we do ask for approval for the 2022 program for staff to update to the FTA.
Questions? Walter?
Yes.
Anna, would you provide us with the context for the changes for Route 79?
Oh, yes, that was the addition, the new route that we established in this past spring, the connector from Madison to North Dickerson. So that was a new route. So anytime a new route is added, as Title VI analysis is conducted.
And so we have one route that stops at the hospital instead of 2.
Well, we actually did not have, the Route 23 did not serve the hospital. It was the Route 43, if I'm not mistaken. And that route was eliminated with the COVID-19 pandemic. So there was a period in time where the Skyline Hospital was not being served. And so that was with the establishment of Route 79, we restored service to the hospital.
Got it.
I have a question. Do we have a benchmark, me and my benchmarking goals, Steve, to a layperson, going from 26% of people in the county have access within half a mile to 22% is not going in the right direction? And is there and I know that because it's a metro government, we have a 424-mile square area, but what do we know is success in that question? Because that, to me, is, if we want to become this amazing choice rider system, that's got to start going in the other direction. And I'll ask that of Steve. How about that? Hannah, you're off the hook.
Yeah, the decline was the percentage of low-income folks in close proximity. And I'll be frank, part of it has to do with, as the cost of housing in Nashville goes up,
Gentrification.
the core of the city becomes more expensive. Folks are getting pushed further out where transit service isn't, including being forced out of county.
Right.
So, it's obviously an issue we need to be super attuned to, but frankly, it's a broader community issue.
We can't fix it alone.
Neighborhoods. And frankly, that's, am I sounding okay?
You're good.
Okay. That's one of the issues behind WeGo Link is trying to, get us, a lot of folks, lower income, are being forced into less dense neighborhoods, believe it or not, which are extremely difficult to serve with traditional fixed route transit.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I think that's a big part of the,
okay. That was just the one thing that jumped out at me.
yeah, I jumped out at me as well.
Yeah,
Although I was pleased to see that, frankly, I expected the minority percentage to dip as well. And, the
and it
fact that
went
went
up 6 points, so that's good.
positive.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Okay, so if there's no other discussion, we do not need a motion. Well, no, we do. Here's what we're going to do. The NICE committee is going to recommend to the board. My parliamentary procedure brain is sitting out in my car, obviously. The NICE committee would make a recommendation to the board to approve the 2022 update to the MTA Title VI program that will be submitted to the FTA in January of 2023.
Well done, Ms. Miller.
Took me a minute.
We have a recommendation, not requiring a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, then I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, we have a motion that carries. Very well.
You did great, Hannah. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Great job, Hannah.
Good job.
Glad to see you back.
Yes.
By the way, Hannah's in a new role for us, so we expect you won't see her back on Title VI, but we do expect you to see her back on some really cool stuff that operations is doing.
It's great. Good deal. Well, we look forward to it, Hannah. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on. We are now going to the Connect Downtown Study update. And we are going to hear from Felix Castrodad and Marty Sewell, who is the NDOT Transportation Planning Director and the one who's managing this Connect Downtown project. So hello and welcome.
All right, thank you. You saved me some time and I have to introduce Marty now.
There you go.
We want to bring you an update on this project that kicked off earlier this year. As you know, it's a partnership between NDOT is the lead, but it's a partnership with MTA, TDOT, and the Nashville Downtown Partnership. So we want to bring you an update. Marty and I are going to tag team on these and just give you some information, including some of the particulars about the transit. Right. And Hannah, thank you again. I know you're not in planning anymore, but we appreciate closing the Title VI.
Good afternoon and happy holidays. It's a pleasure to be able to be here today and give this update on Connect Downtown, and appreciate the partnership that NDOT and WeGo and TDOT and Downtown Partnership have had on this project. So I wanted just to spend a few minutes and summarize at a high level on where we are in the process and what's to come. Whoops, that's my intro slide there. Just to give you a reminder of what we're talking about here, this is, of course, a comprehensive effort, downtown's planning effort to look for ways to better manage our downtown congestion as it relates to transit, our traffic operations, curbside, and just safety in general for our pedestrians and other vulnerable users. This would lead to a 10-year action plan to implement projects and programs and that we would commit to and actually deliver on and have strong commitment from NDOT to do so. And just be able to do some of the things that we know have to happen in order to make the transit system work and downtown work in general. I slipped past that previous goal, so I'll go back. But just the top 6 goals are the 6 goals that we have established up to this point in the planning process are there on your screen. You can go into the, let's see it to the next page. There's a report that I'll get to in a second, the State of Downtown Mobility Report that's available on our website that'll go into a little more detail on all of these things that we're presenting today and give some more framework or framing for the rest of the process. But to hit on some of the recent activities, we finalized the vision and goal statements, working with our committees, technical committees, and with our stakeholder committees, as well as working with, well, not working with, but a survey that included more than 2,000 participants that helped us frame where we are at this point. Best practices topics, that was one of the things that was part of our early part of the study, along with the existing conditions analysis. And I put this up here just as a reminder of the focus on the modal priority and the transit priority corridors that Felix is going to talk about in a little bit more detail in a second. But speaking again about the State of Downtown Mobility Report, for those who might be listening elsewhere or listening later, if you go to our website, connectdowntown.nashville.gov, you'll be able to see this report and other information about the study. The key areas of focus that have come into, well, the key areas that have come into focus as we've gotten through this process over the last several months are these here listed on the top here. And again, establishing a modal hierarchy and that prioritized transit, there's listed number 3, which is deceiving because really that's number 1. That is the number 1 outcome of this project. And if we don't address that, we will have failed. And so we are emphasizing that more than anything else. And again, Felix will hit on that in a little bit more detail and just right now, actually. Where did he go? Thanks, Felix.
So why don't you just make it number 1 then?
We should. That's a good edit.
Just a thought.
Agreed. Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Request at 6.
Thank you, Marty. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we accomplish with this project is not only to highlight some of the issues for transit when it comes to downtown, which is a major challenge for our system reliability, but that we can also identify options and implement those options to start solving that problem. So as you know, Vigo Central is not that central anymore. Downtown keeps growing and expanding. There's a lot of development taking place. And as you can see on this map, those blue markers are different developments that are taking place. And a lot of that is happening to the south, the southwest, to the west. And even when you look at the plans for the East Bank, there's a lot of that is happening on the other side of the river, but it has a direct impact on downtown. So this is going to be, this is problematic because we're not adequately set up to be able to effectively serve some of these emerging markets the way that we have. But one of the things that we're looking at with this is the establishment of new centers that are going to be providing better connections on the edge of downtown for our system. It's going to help us to more comprehensively and be more flexible about how we serve downtown. So we have the Sobro Transit Center, which was identified and in motion. It's part of Better Bus. It's part of the city's transportation plan. So that's one of the main anchors. The other one is conversations that come up for a multimodal hub on the East Bank as part of that development. And you saw some of that on the presentations that you got about the East Bank. So these are going to be opportunities that we have to better maximize our service. And just to give you an idea of what that could look like. So we have that connectivity between the 3 different centers. What this provides is an opportunity, for example, if you look at some of the routes coming from the north, they can continue past Central and maybe terminate at a Sobro Transit Center. At the same time, you can take some of the routes that come from the south or the west, and then you can continue and connect to an East Bank Transit Center. And it just gives you a little bit more flexibility on how you can start connecting some of those routes, including through routing in the downtown area and provide a better connectivity. But also, if you think about the fact that we only have Vigo Central, and when there's a sudden event that takes place, think of the Christmas Day bombing a few years ago, and then it renders that facility, you can't really do much. So this gives us a little bit more of resilience. We can maintain service. We have other facilities that allows us to address these operationally in a more efficient way. So in order for this to happen, we have to make sure that service in downtown is...
Felix, if I could just jump in.
Yeah,
The other, I think Felix covered it great, but the other issue with multiple transit centers is we've just flat out outgrown Central.
Yeah.
And it's big. I mean, there aren't many of that type of facility around the country that's as big as that one is, with about 24 bays. And still we find buses, queued up, especially particularly rush hour when we have our regional buses in as well. So even beyond the resilience, absolutely accurate, and better coverage of the core, which is absolutely accurate, we flat out don't have more room there.
Right. Thank you.
Well, if I could just add a perspective to that as well. I appreciate we're having these centers, but it doesn't change the fact that if we can't get out of any center, including the Elizabeth Duff Center, and be able to move about traffic, I don't want people to take this and believe that that means that we're solving the downtown problem, because we're not.
Absolutely. I'm getting there.
Oh, well, okay. I knew you were, Felix, but just in case, just in case.
That's good.
Madam Chair.
You're on top of it.
I just wanted to make certain that was very clear, that it doesn't really matter. Like, it still has to be the number 1 priority. Okay. I'll let you
Felix,
go,
that's what's known as lobbing a softball. Jeez.
Would you like to address that, Felix, later in the presentation?
Absolutely. I would love to.
Apparently you say sooner than later.
So, as you know, definitely to start addressing these, we have to make sure the service in downtown is fast and it is reliable moving through downtown. So this is where transit priority corridors can help. And so this is a way for us to have a more prominent use of the street for transit. That doesn't mean that they are exclusive for transit. These transit priority corridors can coexist with other modes. But what that means is that there's an emphasis on transit. There is a precedence that take place for transit service and makes that a lot more reliable. So by providing faster and more reliable service through downtown, we can start thinking about things like through routing, a one-seat ride that is going to help some people, so it can minimize some of the transfers. But also, not only when you think about downtown, but with the connection to the transit centers, you can start having better connection, faster connections, more reliable service to places outside of downtown, to other neighborhoods, to other parts of the city. This increases your accessibility, which we know is a big part of how you can start building equity for the transit ridership. And also, when you think about this, it can have a big impact on our regional travel as well. So regional routes can utilize this infrastructure and these improvements to operate as well. So the study is looking at the whole grid in downtown, east-west connections, north-south, and then the role that the transit centers can play in providing those connections and that connectivity. But we know that the north-south is kind of the biggest challenge that we currently have as we move through downtown. Mm-hmm. So with that, the study and the team has been looking at a bunch of different alignments, as you can see here, 12 to be more specific. And they all have been analyzed, looking at criteria like connectivity, directness of travel, service reliability, compatibility with other modes, activity levels, and so on. So from these, there's 3 that show kind of the most promise and that the team has identified for potential further analysis and incorporating into some scenarios that we will take to the public to evaluate them for comment.
Felix, will there just be one?
Not
Will they
necessarily.
select one?
Okay. That's one of the discussions that have come up, and that's not necessarily the case. It could be a combination,
Okay,
but it's
great.
got to be something that makes sense, that it's going to be that it's going to be reliable in the sense that it's not something that's going to be shut down every time there's an event.
Right.
We have to identify ways that we can come to something that is going to be open all the time for transit.
Great.
So the 3 that are coming up, it's 3rd and 4th Avenue couplet. There's another one on 7th Avenue connecting to Lafayette Street, and another one around 8th Avenue connecting to Lafayette Street as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Marty to continue and wrap up. But I'm just, before I do that, I'm going to say that these improvements are going to be critical if we want to see transit being a real option and being reliable. Because the way that downtown is, it's not going to get any better. It's just going to continue to deteriorate and be more and more detrimental to transit to be competitive. And with these type of improvements, there's a lot more that we can do with less. So who doesn't want to do that, right? So with that, I'm going to turn it over back to Marty, and he's going to another few more slides and wrap up.
Great, thank you.
Right. Thanks, Felix. As we get into the developing solution stage, which is where we are right now, part of that is just getting the whole population of what those might be, and start asking the priority questions to further define that list of projects and start developing scenarios made up of those various solutions. And part of that is we're working with the community. Of course, we've had all of the engagement to this point, but this slide here is showing you the build your own survey, build your own scenario survey that is currently open. I want to make this clear. It closes tomorrow. So it's been open since early November. So if you know anyone, if you haven't yourself had a chance, it takes about 5 minutes, or you can make it take as long as you need. But the idea is you've got a certain amount of money and you're allotting those to the different scenarios in a way that gets to benefit scores that you favor most. So it's a fun game to play, but it's also, and it says November 15th up there too. I want to make sure I say that again, that it closes December 16th tomorrow for those who want to participate. And this will help us as we get to the next step, these critical next steps of continuing to gather public input on what we have to date and getting more engagement on the solutions, identifying early actions that we can take, that we can do within the first couple of years, and considering policies and legislative needs that might take a little longer, and to be able to, with this plan and wrapping up this plan for sake of that, to establish and evaluate the scenarios that are developed and work with the community. And as you can see on the timeline there at the bottom, we're aiming for April of next year to have this wrapped up and ready to go. And we at NDOT, in doing so, have every intention pushing forward immediately on implementation and taking these as far as we can go with that. And of course, would work with NDOT. Well, NDOT would work with WeGo and all the other partners, of course, to do that. But I think, and I asked our leadership if it was okay for me to say this, if I wasn't overstepping, but we are committed to doing this and to making this work, and especially the transit priority corridors. And we're here to do what we can to make that happen and work with you to do that, because we understand how critical that is from a system, transportation system overall, but in particular to the transit system, to get that sorted out and to have that connectivity back. So with that, I wanted to add one thing, if you'll allow me, an introduction. Megan Matheson, if she could, you mind standing up real quick? The Nashville Connector, the Transportation Demand Management Program that we have that is now operating out of NDOT. We've been on a bit of a pause for the last year or so on some of the actual programming, but we're getting that back up and going. And Megan joined us in October from Minnesota, and so she'll be working with us to get that program reestablished and make it better than it's ever been before. And we'll be doing that in partnership, of course, with WeGo on that as well. So I wanted to make sure I got that introduction. We'll be around afterwards if you want to stop by and chat, answer any other questions. So with that, thank you again for the opportunity, and we're welcome any questions or moving on to the next one if you need.
Welcome, Megan. The winters are a little warmer down here, so you're gonna love that. So, okay, questions, comments? Margaret.
I think I asked this on the East Bank discussion that we had, which was excellent, but I have several employees at my office who come from Lebanon and Mount Juliet, and they would like to take the Star, but when they get there, it's hard for them to get to Germantown. So I'm very interested in this north-south connector. So I'm wondering what consideration is there in order to help drive more traffic on the Star to get from the Star on the north-south so that we can get some more of these cars off the road?
Yeah. So the timing of this is perfect, as we are doing another study on the Star, looking at how we can better utilize that resource and connect it to some of the needs and emerging markets that are happening. So definitely the East Bank plays a big factor on that, what we're looking at with Connect Downtown. So I think there's a perfect opportunity to connect, and we've already talked to some of the consultants on the WeGo Star study about these efforts that are happening and how we can feed from each of these efforts to better connect Riverfront specifically, because that's part of the whole study. How do you connect the Star not only to downtown but to the rest of the system? As not everybody necessarily is going to downtown, but that's where it terminates, right? So you have to have a better connection between that and I think the centers, the transit priority corridors, all that needs to work in tandem to be able to expand the opportunities and the access for the different modes.
Great, thank you.
And Margaret, to expand on that and specific to that example, one of the opportunities that the transit priority corridors and multiple centers give, Felix talked extensively about through routing of routes. So right now, where you'd be going from Riverfront, you'd catch a bus to Central, then you'd transfer, catch a bus to Germantown. You have more of the opportunities for those to be continuous. So maybe you have to walk a block or two, depending on where these kind of pop up. But then you get on that bus, it will stop at Central and then continue on to other locations.
Great, thank you. Other questions, Jessica?
Yes, thank you. I note on the critical next step slide here, you say identify early action recommendations. Will it also be identifying long-term recommendations as well as funding needs?
That's
and
right.
where funding will come from?
That's right. We intend to have a plan for funding. Obviously, we have to go through the steps to secure that moving forward, but to understand what that would be and what that would require, and the type of commitments it would require. The plan itself is intended to be a 10-year action plan. So we are creating solutions that would fit into that window realistically, with the intent, obviously, if there are other longer range plans that we want to make sure we accommodate or don't do anything to keep from happening, I guess, to prevent. And I do want to take a minute to thank Jessica too for her participation on the technical advisory or the stakeholder committee. I'm sorry, I get it right. That group has met together, or those two groups have met together on several times. So we appreciate what she brings to that committee. And I know that she brings your opinions to that as well and helps with that. So thank you for your help on that.
Gail, did you have something? Oh, hi, Mary. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
It's okay. I just wanted to see if there's a little more clarity or if it'll be down the road on how this will assist the outside of downtown, area, because I understand, is the 10 years, that's still the focus on downtown? What's the sort of timeline, to get people from the outside areas, even to downtown, to be able to go to events, et cetera? That's a lot of the car traffic at night.
I can speak to the 10-year plan part of it being you would see the focus on implementing the transit corridor or transit priority corridor very early in that effort. We would want to start whatever we can do immediately to get that process rolling. I feel like I've missed the second part. If you wouldn't mind.
What it's going to do for the okay,
Yes,
let's
yes.
say Bellevue, where I'm from, right? So what will it do if people from Bellevue still can't get downtown to events and get home when the event is over? I had heard it say that it would also help the outlying areas, and I wasn't clear how.
I think, and Felix could address it too, but the degree to which it can improve your reliability on the transit corridors because they don't sit in downtown for 30 minutes.
Right.
In those, if you want.
No, that's exactly right. I think the transit priority corridor is what allows you is to have the routes moving faster. As Steve mentioned, through routing, so you don't necessarily have to stop and lay over there, so you can continue. They can reach to other places faster and continue. So it becomes more of a better option when you know that your bus is not going to get delayed, like Marty said, 30 minutes standing in downtown just to, it's a domino effect with transit, right? So, you get one late and then it just keeps affecting the rest of the other routes, the connections that people have to make and so on. So it's just to the degree that you've solved the downtown puzzle, which is where we get stuck, buses can continue more reliably and faster to other parts of the city.
The other thing I would add to that, Mary, is it doesn't mean we don't need to, and we do need to look at priority treatments in other corridors. Like we'll be studying the Murfreesboro Pike corridor, West End corridor, Gallatin corridor for whether bus rapid transit or what have you. But for folks who were involved in the in-motion, we remember kind of the big gray box of, okay, we can study a corridor. It's pretty obvious what you need to do along Murfreesboro or Gallatin or any of the major corridors. And then you'd kind of come into downtown Nashville, and it's like, now what do we do? So, once we get some definition to this, then okay, if we've got a downtown connection and that Sobro transit hub is one of the nodes on that connection, then that becomes the easy joint to the southern and southeast parts of the community. So it makes that piece of planning much easier. But I know when I first started and folks asked me, well, what's your take on the AMP? And I'm like, well, it's great. It's a really high-end thing, but we are going to have buses just stack up in downtown when it comes off this high-level prioritized transit corridor, and then we just plop back into downtown traffic. So this is a real, for lack of a better word, it's a linchpin. And the way Nashville is designed, they'll say, why don't you go to a grid system? And I tell folks, well, when Marty and NDOT make the streets into a grid system, we'll look at that. But in the meantime, most of the best connections between neighborhoods in Nashville is still through the downtown core. And that's true whether you're in a car or you're on transit. And then the other thing I would add to Janet's question on could there be more than one? As a reminder from the East Bank conversation, certainly we're working toward that north-south boulevard, also being transit priority corridor.
Thank you. It helps me to be able to, sometimes I find myself understanding here, but then somebody asks me, and, when I get some of that more detail, it makes it easier for me to explain to others what we're doing.
There's a really good chance when your neighbor's bus in Bellevue is late, it's because of something that happened downtown.
I really appreciate the planning process, but for a moment, it sounds really daunting that we're talking about 10 years. So I guess I would like to know if there is a commitment to fixing something that you see in the process more immediately.
Thank you for that question. That is definitely a priority for us in this stage of developing the plan, is to be able to know that we have projects that we can start on immediately. Obviously,
I don't even mean after the planning process. I mean, like right now, all
Well,
of a
for
sudden in the
example-
planning process, you see, you know what, if we just could do this one tweak that we learned during this planning process, even before we finish the plan, we can do that tweak. Because I do think that the problem gets worse and worse and worse, and people get more and more and more frustrated. So I think, and it impacts us so much all the time, and it impacts our citizens. So I'm just wondering, is there a commitment? If you say, Felix, look, I just saw this. I think if you all tweak this one little thing, or if you call the mayor's office and say, oh, we could tweak this one thing, we can make a huge change even before we finish the plan, that you all are committed to that.
And we've been having some conversations about the 4th Avenue area where things get crowded. Probably maybe having a solution for that we could present in the near future that could happen way before we finish this, and as an interim solution. The traffic management center that's under development for downtown, as well as just the modernization of the curbside and all that, that's all in progress. And the leading pedestrian intervals on all of the signals downtown, that is a project that is in progress or soon to be in implementation. That we're doing. So steps like that we're taking, the downtown or the Traffic and Parking Commission and some of the things that they're working with on rules and procedures for various things using the parking areas or the curbs especially. And then the Licensing Commission have been working hard on a lot of different initiatives as well. I'm sure that you've heard in the news, but we're packaging all of that together along with Vision Zero as these things are in motion. And so they all have to be working together, leading toward this sort of goal.
Yeah, it's really important. I think when people attend something at the Symphony Center, the Skirmerhorn Center, you can't get in, you can't get out. And I think that impacts a lot of other people's quality of life. And I think us being able to make changes as they come about, that's critically important, and that we not be so wed to just a process. But I just trust that you all are really doing that anyhow, right? Felix, how about ahead of you again, Felix?
The more we can demonstrate a project that can be successful before we build it, the better. So I think we're definitely open to this.
Thank you so much.
Other questions, comments? You good, Walter?
The only comment I wanted to add was I want to thank Marty for his leadership on this, but I also want to thank Diana Alarcon, Marty's boss, the NDOT director. I think it was the first meeting I ever had with Diana when she came to town. She asked me, why don't you have dedicated bus lanes downtown? I'm like, well, because we never had a director at NDOT who had the guts to do it. So she's really kind of, put her effort behind it and brings experience from other places. So really appreciate her commitment that we absolutely have to get more people using transit. And in order to do that, we have to make it more reliable. And in order to do that, we have to have the infrastructure to support it. Right. And then the other issue is one of the things, frankly, this board, us as staff as well, but this board and other community leadership are going to have to do is get behind them in this effort, because there's going to be resistance. It's different. If we take, Marty identified one of the corridors they're looking at for transit priority is 8th Avenue. And I've already heard people, well, there's a lot of traffic on 8th Avenue. But if you take the amount of ridership on all the routes we would funnel through a transit priority corridor, whether it's 8th Avenue or it's something else, it's just about exactly equal to the traffic volume on that street. So it makes sense. And that's at current levels. That's without any ridership growth. So it absolutely makes sense when people say, well, wait a minute, you're telling me I can't take my car down that lane? It's going to be a bus lane? We're like, well, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And it makes perfect sense in dozens of other cities around the country, many of them much smaller with less congestion than what Nashville has. So it really is going to take some courage from the community to help NDOT push this over the top.
And this, to me, this is a classic example of what we have talked about, which is that is a great role for this board to stand up in the community and say, here's the why, and it's important, and let's get behind it. So, any other questions or comments?
By the way, it's your opportunity if you want to ask Marty some party bus questions.
No, we're not going, Steve, we're not going there, okay? So, but thank you all so much for the presentation. It was great. It was absolutely great. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you very much.
our last item is Mr. Ed is going to talk to us about the operating budget discussion kickoff.
Thank you, ma'am. The actual discussion items on page 22 and 23 of your book, but we have a slide presentation that we were going to, Steve and I will kind of team up and cover. But basically, I just wanted to give a brief overview of the budget process for this year. We typically started in December, as you know, and that is in order to set up for Metro kicking it off in January and then ultimately for a budget submission in February. But today we wanted to give you an overview of the trends and issues that we're seeing in the budget as we come into 24 and gain some input from the board as to what your priorities are and what you think is important for next year and beyond. This first slide that we have created for you, this is basically a history of the Metro subsidy for the last 5 to 6 years and where we think it needs to go and beyond. Quite honestly, we're just now seeing Metro's subsidy support giving us the ability to maintain our existing services and include investments that will grow the services according to the Mayor's Transportation Plan and the Better Bus Plan. Up until now, it's really been challenging. You can see the first 3 years on that chart are flat, that we survived through some flat funding. And if you recall, in 2019, we also had some funding cuts from TDOT, which ultimately resulted in some significant service reductions. So it has been challenging. But now in 22, now in 22, or in 21, in 21, I'm losing my place. I'm just going to look at the chart. In 21, you also know that we also had a significant decrease in these Metro's subsidy support due to the pandemic. But fortunately, we had the pandemic relief money to make up that balance. But now in 22, they did restore baseline funding. But if you recall, they did ask us to do the seed funding for the first part of the Better Bus project, which we did do. In 23, true to their word, they did make us whole on the baseline plus inflation and also the full year of what we did seed fund and did provide us another $2.9 million in funding for Better Bus for the next round. Now, you will recall that the mayor had requested 3.9 and then the council cut it back to 2.9 due to issues with Metro schools. I say all this to say that our expectations for 24 will be that our baseline operating support from Metro will need to grow from approximately the $59.7 million that we have right now to most likely somewhere around $63 to $64 million to keep up with inflation and also the services that we do end up implementing in this year.
And that would be just for the baseline funding?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. For the out years on this chart, you can see we've set up an inflation range with an upper range and a lower range. Since I don't have that magical mystery ball or crystal ball to make it, if I did, I wouldn't be here, for what inflation is going to be doing over the next 2 to 3 years. But with this chart, basically, if you see the upper range, or even with the lower range, which we assumed was at about 3.5%, which is still a significant reduction from where we are now, we would still, by the 26, we would see Metro's subsidy need to be in the $70 million range from where we are right now at 59. And if we do, unfortunately, suffer through these higher inflation rates, it could go as high as about $77 million that we would need by the end of for fiscal year 26. So it's definitely a significant challenge. So it will be imperative to continue to communicate this message as we enter the budget process with Metro. This next slide is basically a dashboard of what we see as the major items and the corresponding trends that make up this, making this such a dynamic situation. Without going into a lot of detail, we color-coded it. Colors are always nice to give you an indication of what the challenges will be. As you can see, the wages and pension are green and are basically in good shape and should be stable since we're still operating under the current collective bargaining agreement. and the positive investment results that we discussed back when we talked about the pension plan a couple meetings ago. Fuel, while it has been volatile, it seems to have stabilized, and we expect that to stay stable for the next few years, especially with the help of the fuel hedging program that we have. When you look at the yellows, obviously it's the inflation I was talking about, or the general expenses that you see make up about 20%. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, the numbers in the parentheses make up what the percentage of our budget is for those items. But we're going to see the inflation that we've just talked about, and you see workers' compensation is also there. We've seen a pretty drastic increase, at least a blip, I'm going to say, on workers' compensation that deserves a deeper dive, which we will be bringing back to the board at some point, along with casualty. Those two, this past year, we saw significant increases, some of it due to actuaries, but regardless of who decided what it was, it's still an issue that we need to address. But to focus on the other red arrows besides casualty, the healthcare and the contracted transportation. Healthcare, as you can see, makes up 17% of the budget, and it is a significant item that we've seen increases. We're going to do some more analysis for you at a later date, but just from a broad perspective, when you look at it, we saw it be very stable from about fiscal year 15 through 19. When the pandemic hit, in the next year, it just absolutely skyrocketed, and we don't want to be naive in that there will likely be more increases as we go. Just as a perspective, what we're seeing at an initial look, we've had some very high claims, some of it related to COVID. We've also seen higher experience factors, and as we all know, inflation doesn't just affect our goods and services, it affects the medical fields, the medical services as well. So,
Hey, Ed, can I ask a question about healthcare? Remind me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this just the WeGo plan, or is it across all Metro?
No, this is just WeGo employees and retirees.
Okay, got it.
The
Thank you.
retirees make up about 20% of the claims cost at this point. Actually, they've been, I'll give them a compliment. I do know they've been performing a lot better than we have on the employee side. So they've done well even at their age. So,
Thank you.
but anyway, so these are the areas as far as the contracted transportation. I've been mentioning it in my monthly summaries that you read. Due to the shortage of the labor shortage we're experiencing, we're having to put more of our services on them, but we have to look at it in a bigger context. They're suffering with labor shortages as well, with supply shortages, supply chain crisis issues as well, and we see this increasing at a greater rate than we normally would see it. But that kind of covers what we're seeing as far as the items to pay attention to, at least. Now, this last slide, before I give it over to Steve, basically, next year's budget will need to include all these items. We will have the commissioning of the Rip Patton Transit Center coming online in spring of '24, meaning that the normal overhead utilities, securities, maintenance expenses will need to start occurring and will need to be in place prior to the opening. And we'll also probably do some onboarding of additional staff related to the facility, similar to what you saw when we did the Hillsborough Transit Center as well. But we're not going to slow down either on our shelter improvement campaign and to add more passengers and waiting shelters. Approximately 33 new shelters have been installed this past year, which is an increase of about 15%. And we're absolutely going to need to augment our staffing to assure that we keep our regular scheduled trash removal, cleaning schedules on time. If we're going to open these centers, we want to make sure we maintain them properly. So that's also included. Obviously, one of the things that we have been doing, and I've mentioned already, the full year of the Better Bus services of whatever we do implement in this year, we will include in the baseline, to your point, Janet. We will have that in there. And then what Steve is going to start to address here in just a second is that we will have a partial year of operation of the next round of Better Bus. Because as you know, when we submit our budgets, we do our baseline request, and then we have what we've been calling a tier 1 request of additional services for Better Bus, which again, like I said, they did fund this past year. Obviously, it won't be at the 2.9 million or 3.9 million range But we will have some services that are going to be implemented that we will include in the baseline.
So I'm going to make a comment before Steve, because it's just been killing me. I do not want us to put a budget in that's an apologetic budget that says, we get it, there's inflation, you don't have to give us. We have got to keep pushing. I can't change inflation. Every metro department has been hit by it. So I don't want our point of view of this budget to be, it's okay. I think we got to keep pushing because it's so important. And I think this and schools deserve, so let's not apologize for the world's condition. Anyway, I had to say it out loud. Okay, Steve.
No, actually, no, I haven't turned it over to Steve yet.
You haven't turned it over.
I haven't turned it over to him yet because there's actually one other item that we don't have as a graph, but as equally as important, and to your point, Janet, we had $100 million between, a lot of pandemic relief funding that we have had carry us through these last 3 or 4 years, and thankfully so. But that's going to run out.
It's going to run out.
Right now, we have basically trended from the original projections that we had, from revenue losses to expenses incurred for COVID and all those things. We've actually done very well on the revenue loss side because, as you know, we've gotten back up to 80% of our pre-pandemic levels, which is obviously improved. But the surplus out of that guess as to what we were going to lose is absolutely going into the expenses, again, inflation and everything else. So we have about $12.7 million at this point that we're already programming into, and also recall that we replaced the 5307 for capital funding with the American Rescue Plan. We let that take that so that we could further enhance our capital plan because it's going to be a balancing act here. As Steve already mentioned, I think earlier, that at some point we're going to lose the COVID funding and we're going to have to move back to our traditional, I don't want to call it traditional, to the strategy that we have used, and that is using our 5307, but that's at the peril of our capital plan to be able to pull it into operating. So we did take that into account in the operating plan as far as using more for PM, but in my opinion, it's the strategy we're faced with at this point until we have some sort of dedicated funding. But again, I just wanted you to be aware of what we did have with the COVID relief funding. It will be running out over the next 2 years, and we have to have something in place to take care of that.
Thank goodness we have you, Ed. You can help figure out the balancing act.
Understood. Thank you. But with that, I will turn it over to Steve.
Okay. Thank you. And I promise anybody who's watching this on TV, I did not set up Janet with her comment entering this. So anybody who is super ultra familiar with the mayor's transportation plan that was adopted by the Metro Council in 2020, this was the phasing of Better Bus investments. Overall, we were looking at about a 30% expansion in service. Remember, that was based on our pre-pandemic service model. And it was phased in this fashion. And this is based on 2020 dollars. So obviously, as inflation takes place, $29 million, which is the total investment, increases year to year. In prior months and in future months, folks like Felix and Justin will update you on Better Bus progress. And we've actually made very good progress, but we all need to remember that part of the reason we've been able to advance the Better Bus improvements much more quickly than we might have otherwise is through that reallocation of services during the pandemic. So I remember it was a month or two ago, Gail asked the question when Katie was reporting on quarterly ridership that if we're coming back this strong, that means when commuters come back, we should be well above where we were. But as a reminder, I said, yeah, except some of their routes won't. Mary's old route doesn't exist anymore. It was those services that were cut, those hours were pushed in a cost neutral way. So in terms of funding, if you could skip to the next one, this kind of gives you a picture of actually how we've been able to fund it out. So the purple bars are that same chart, that same schedule. The green bars are what we requested specifically for service expansion, and the red is the progress made to date. So even though Felix and operations for planning and operations and service development, everyone involved, has done a great job spinning out a lot of the improvements, later service hours, the new 79 route, improved frequencies, particularly on nights and weekends, new WeGo link zones. You know, we're kind of ahead of the curve there. We've really only gotten to 10% of the funding level of what we need longer term. So to Janet's point, you know, yeah, we are going to be aggressive in the baseline ask, and Ed gave you the ranges on what we're going to need there to cover what we have. But we've got to look at really two significant phases. We'll be going out for comments in January on the spring service changes. For a variety of reasons, we're not rolling out as much of Better Bus as we would like to. Part of it's staffing, but actually part of it is exactly what Marty and Felix were talking about. We've actually seen reliability losses on some of our key routes. So we're having to throw more service hours at routes like the 52 and the 55 to keep that service reliable. Because of the issues that Ed reported on our subcontracted service for access, we have to take more of those operators that we have and create more access runs. So they won't be available to us. But the plan is to continue to pursue, you know, those phases, later service hours, better frequency on routes like our 7 and our 8, additional span and frequency on our crosstowns like the 75 and the 77, push some of them out into October. And then, of course, by spring of 2024, we'll have all of the service expansion associated with the Rip Patton Jr. North Nashville Transit Center, the extension of the Metro Center route, the extension of the Whites Creek route, creation of a new Trinity Lane crosstown. So the intent is really to pursue, you know, those in the investment requests that we have with Metro, which will be significant. Next slide, if there is one. Good. I was going to say, I can't remember what I'm talking about next. So I think, Janet, to your point, and the timing of this is always a little challenging because you'll have a January board meeting, but frankly, it's probably going to be like a week from that board meeting to the time that our budget submission is due. So we're pretty well done by then. So, and I think Janet got it off on the right foot.
Gail and I both had soapbox issues today that we climbed up on,
but certainly any, you know, priorities you'd like to see or message received loud and clear.
Thank you for that. So I'm so subtle, aren't I? Comments, Jessica?
I second Janet's thoughts on not presenting an apologetic budget. I actually had written down, why do we do two tiers? Is that common for other metro departments?
It kind of actually follows their format of a baseline budget, generally what they request, and we don't have any reason to think it's going to change substantially. I know I was talking to the finance director, Kelly Flannery, a couple weeks ago, and they expect to have the budget calls going out probably either the end of this month or very early next month, and it probably follows the same format we have historically, which is baseline budget, cut scenario. If we have to reduce your budget for whatever reason, what are the implications of that? And then the investment requests, which is new stuff. So new stuff, you know, whether you're us saying, well, you know, we'll have Rip Patton Transit Center coming online will be akin to, well, we're opening a new fire station or we're opening a new police precinct. So the things that really have to be done, you know, otherwise, why did you commit to the project in the first place?
Exactly.
You know, or just new innovations. So, so that's essentially what it was sort of what we started with, and then it kind of follows the Metro format of, you know, a baseline and an investment request.
Thank you for answering that. My other thought is, or comment is, how confident are we that they're going to come up in funding? Ed says we're going to need approximately what?
63 to 64, right.
Yes, the low 60s. But getting up to 59.7 seemed to be kind of a fight. And as the years progress, we're talking more like 70 to 77 million. Just for baseline operations. I'm concerned as a board member, as a Nashville resident, and as someone who works for transit advocacy about how all these numbers are shaking out, because there was another graph slide that shows the requested funding, the purple bars of the Better Bus investments year per year, and then what the city actually funded. Yeah.
Well, first of all, Ed said he can't predict inflation. or he wouldn't be here. And if I could accurately predict what the city would do, he'd be on Wall Street and I'd be in Washington, D.C.
Does that mean I could leave then too?
Nope, Gail, you're here for good. Sorry.
But what I would say, Jessica, is number one, the slow, what I'll call the slow funding of it isn't due to a lack of desire. Obviously, the city got hit. The early years where you saw the flat city was in a real fiscal crunch. And then they kind of got their fiscal house in order. So when revenue's up, things could kind of get back to normal. And wham, you're hit with Christmas Day bombing, pandemic, tornado. So, and Ed alluded to the fact that when we were able to get back up to the baseline, thanks to, yes, Metro cut us by like $23 million in fiscal 2021, but they cut us knowing that we had access to a resource that maybe the police department didn't. That we could backfill. We weren't going to have to cut our service by 30% to address that shortfall, so it was working cooperatively. And then they restored it the following year, asked us to seed fund the better bus improvements because they sincerely wanted to do them. They think they're important. They're obviously part of the mayor's plan that council adopted, but still had a little instability coming out of the pandemic. And I would say right now the challenge that folks like Kelly and the mayor and the council will face is akin to what Ed's facing, which is what's going to happen next year. We have an economy that is very heavily reliant on tourism income, whether that's sales tax, hotel tax. If we go into a deep recession, what happens to those numbers? So I think we've always gotten a positive response in terms of what we're asking for. It aligns well. They'll be doing the budget equity tool again this year, which they started last year. Basically, it's akin to Hannah's Title VI presentation. What impacts are your investments going to make on those who really most need it? And the feedback we got was ours was one of the best analyses, or we had presented the best case. So it's all a matter of what those competing priorities are. And it's what I know you've always preached, and I've always talked about as, well, why do you need dedicated funding? And it's frankly to, when you recognize our system is way too small for what this city is and what this city needs, and it needs to be much bigger, without dedicated funding, it means we have to go into this competition every year with schools, police, fire department, parks, all of those priorities, which I can't say they're not important. I use parks. Hopefully I don't have to call the police, but you never know.
And I think it's really important. I mean, we were very pleased last year. I think the mayor's office did a great job of getting the funding to us. I just think we've got to keep pushing. If we don't push, nobody's going to push, I guess, is the point of view. Other comments, Mary?
And Steve leading, sort of softballing to me about the schools issue, so that, I raised the point last year that, we're also infrastructure and that we shouldn't be in competition with schools, right? That's not okay, but what can we do on our end? And what message are we maybe needing to get out? What have we learned from last year about having $1 million, kind of taken away at the last minute?
Well, I mean, I think a lot does come to advocacy, and sometimes, frankly, transit riders have a lot of things on their mind. So maybe they can't be quite as organized, for lack of a better word, as say the bicycle pedestrian community, which is super organized and have been very effective advocates, or parents of school children, who are very effective advocates. So, and I think, and I know it's always been Gail's position, that this board has to sort of step into there. If they can't advocate for themselves, we have to advocate for them, and communicate what the value of the services are. I mean, to Janet's question earlier on the changing Title VI demographics, if to afford to live in Nashville and maybe get to a job at a hotel in downtown Nashville, you've got to live 5 or 6 miles further out, how are you going to get there? And typically we're going to need to be a huge part of that answer. And if we can't grow service to a point where it is, and Jessica, you follow this stuff around the country, the referenda and what's happening in other cities, cities we were ahead of 5 years ago are lapping us.
So I think there's an educational component that is really important with the council and the mayor's office.
Absolutely.
Walter, you got anything?
Yeah,
Great.
because at the very end of the comments, the notion of dedicated funding kind of eked back out. And it seems to me that that's what we ought to be leading with. And in terms of our advocacy, that's where it has to be focused. And there's no substitute for that. We can talk about this stuff until blue in the face. And believe me, I can turn blue. Without leading with that, pushing that, advocating for that, organizing around that, then we're at the gaming table, and that's no way to run a railroad or a bus company.
No, it is not.
Great point. Gail, how about you?
I just think the lights are on and the writing's on the wall is that we have work to do and we have to be advocates for the change that has to happen in this financial model. So we're going to do some work next year.
That's correct.
The only closing point with the focus here has been on the operating budget. And Ed alluded to the fact that as the pandemic relief money depletes, then we will be tapping back into those federal formula dollars, which have allowed us to have a pretty robust capital plan. And I've talked to members, and it's been in my monthly report. So we're still awaiting Metro's announcement of a capital spending plan. Last I heard, they will probably be looking at something in January. But that'll be sort of another trigger decision for us. So our request into this upcoming capital spending plan is $37 million. We have core assumptions in our capital plan for minimum levels we need to achieve just to keep it stable. So that would be even before, Janet, to your point, even before we see what the mayor's operating budget looks like for us or what the council might adopt for us, having some idea of, because obviously if we're able to get local capital dollars, it frees up those federal formula dollars for us to be able to use in that manner.
Right. Okay, any other questions or comments? Ed, did you get what you need from us?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
I didn't mean to blast at you.
I can't wait to see Ed go in all fired up.
I know, it's going to be great. I can't wait. Thank you. It was a really great report. And thank you to the board for all the participation. So
But
with
I do
that,
want to echo one thing, Janet. I would say that I do think that we have had constant support from our Metro Council and our mayor's office over the years. Again, I think it still goes back to the financial model.
excellent point. That concludes the NICE committee, and I will hand it back to you, Madam Chair.
Well, thank you very much. And I can just hand this right off to Steve for his director's report.
Thank you. Well, in the interest of, first of all, Renuka, our marketing communications group, provided you with a little token for the holidays. My Christmas gift to you is I'm going to keep this remarkably short. We touched on the budget.
Christmas.
Kind of, only if you let me talk, guys. Concurrent with the operating budget, our planning department has put out project calls, so we're also working on the capital improvement plan update for the upcoming year. Earlier this month, I had the chance to participate in a panel discussion for a program called Leadership APTA. Myself and several of my peers from around the country did a discussion on public-private partnerships. Leadership APTA is an executive development program of our national trade association, the American Public Transportation Association. It's been around for a number of years. It has about 600 graduates now. And frankly, the industry is littered with CEOs who came out of that program. I don't happen to be one of them because I'm old enough that it was created after I was a CEO. But I'm very proud to say that our own Trey Walker is in this year's class. So, so I know he's going to set the industry on fire. And I'm sure after, it was a virtual panel, so I'm sure after the Zoom was shut down, Trey told him, no, everything he said was just a bunch of crap. So, also on a happy note, Vince, raise your hand. I've been talking about it for months. Vince Malone is now on board has hit the ground running. As I mentioned previously, Vince comes to us from TDOT, where he was the civil rights director for the department. And for those of you who were at the groundbreaking for the Ernest Rip Patton Jr. Transit Center, Vince attended, and Commissioner Ely still shook my hand, even though he knew that Vince would be leaving the department.
Yep.
So I think that transition went pretty well. Earlier today, with respect to the East Bank planning process, I participated with a number of other folks with the mayor's briefing of our state legislative delegation on East Bank plans, particularly transit elements associated with it. There was a good bit of interest from the delegation on the transit aspects. And, to the question Mary asked earlier, how does this benefit people outside the county, or in outer parts of the county, which we spoke to. And I think importantly, they've asked for follow-up briefings on the broader transportation issues coming up in next year's session. And I already kind of touched on the service changes coming up. We'll be going out to public comment for those. We are making headway in operator hiring. We're increasing the number of operators that we assign in the spring pick from 415 currently to 428. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, with the addition of 5 new runs on access to address growing demand, it's kind of a good news thing. We're seeing access demand kind of come back up. So that's really important. And then some of the reliability issues we've seen on the 52 and the 55. Largely, the Better Bus expansion program we're looking at is 3 additional WeGo link zones. Mary, one in your neck of the woods in Bellevue, one in the Sylvan Park area, and one around the John Toon Airport area, where we're seeing some demand for employment trips from a number of employers out there. I also want to thank our employee engagement committees, and particularly Zeta Riggs, our customer care director, for organizing a series of luncheons, dinners, banquets at our various facilities. They were very well received, and Zeta got me started on my weight gain program for the holidays early, so thanks a lot for that, Zeta. But it was delicious, and it's great fellowship and seeing operating employees who are super appreciative of the effort. Just a couple quick notes on the RTA side. We did do kickoff meetings with the development team for Donaldson Station. Kind of knocked down a bunch of points that we each need to work on. We've kind of gone our own ways. We have to work on things like getting appraisals done on the property and putting together a baseline market assessment of the property. And they are going off to see if they can get additional parcels of land in that area incorporated into the development. So that'll be moving along. And the Titans have had a rough couple of weeks, but the Titans Express continues to roll on very successfully with sellout trains. So if you're going to the games to cheer them on, get your tickets early because they have been selling out. And other than that, I just hope everyone has a happy, safe holiday season. It will be my first family Christmas in Nashville. I got to spend the last 2 by myself in Nashville. So it'll be I have to remember to put clothes on this year, come down Christmas morning. So. Madam Chair, unless there's anything else, that concludes my report.
Ooh, that one was a hard one to follow. Welcome, Vince. It's great to have you here. Good to see you, and we just look forward to working with you. Zeta, way to bring that kind of wonderful thing that you've been bringing to so many people with that smile and just that spirit you have. So I was excited to hear about you doing that, but not at all surprised. So thank you for doing that. Let's see, Marty, great to have you here. Hopefully we weren't too pushy on you, but it's okay. You look like you were okay with this. So you and Felix, thank you for that. I just think that is just really so critical to everything that we do right now. So thank you. And Madison, right? Megan, I'm sorry, Megan. I don't know. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, Megan, but welcome to Nashville. Hey, everybody's doing remarkable things. And I think the one thing, and I'll reiterate it, that we got a chance to see today is just the spirit, the fact that Renuka and Kia, your presentation, and I think, Kia, that might be your first presentation to the board. You were amazing, and welcome to the table. So Thank you very much. And Renuka, your work and to have the Duff family here has been incredible. And I love the fact that you all are doing this in partnership and one's working so much in your mother's and your wife's legacy. And that just warms our heart and clearly yours too. So I'm grateful that we're able to do that. And thank you all for working so closely. So what a wonderful group. All of you all are doing amazing work. My fellow board members and Margaret, it's great to work with you all. And it's great to sort of hear the synergy at the table about what our work is going to look like next year. And that it's really all about taking transit to the next level, not just for next year, but for the many years to come, and that we're all committed to doing that. So when you get those emails about having those small sessions that we talked about to really talk about how we work this way, answer Monica as soon as she sends them. Or you could be like me, be 2 days, and then she'll call you, but then you get to talk to her, right? But I'm looking forward to that, and she will call, won't she? And she'll be really nice about it for a minute. But she gets us together, but I appreciate everything that she does to keep us rolling and everything. And Margaret, I always appreciate that you join us in these conversations because they're critical to the work that we do. And Steve, your leadership guides us and all that. So as we end this annual year, just know my deep appreciation for the work that we all do and the deep appreciation that and gratitude that I have for how we take care of our citizens of Nashville and think about them and all the work that we do. And happy holidays. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and because we got a lot of work to do next year. And take care of your families and embrace all the goodness that we have. So happy holidays, everybody. And is there anything else from anybody else? You sure? You want to stay a little longer? Oh, no, we good? Oh, Walter has one other thing.
Please, let's focus on the opportunities for vendors for our work in the coming months. I noticed that we have at least one potential vendor here with us today, Brother Ahmed, who provides transportation services. And we've introduced him before. I just wanted to reintroduce him. And there are other vendors who are chomping at the bit. Let's hear them and bring them to the attention of the staff that needs to know who they are and what they're doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else?
Not from me.
Not from you. You say you're not going to be the reason for the hold up, are you? Are you? Everybody's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I don't know. With that being said, we are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.